Have you ever been playing a Sonic game, specifically the Boost games? Have you ever been playing Sonic Unleashed? Thought that was a really good game. Thought it was really fun. Then you go on to 2011. Hey, it's still pretty fun, just, not as great. Then you get to early 2017. Wow, this has totally fallen off. Well, me and a special guest are going to be discussing that today. Welcome to Sonic the Hedgehog, the Boost Era. I am your host, Socks for 5 and 6, and please enjoy. Alright guys, and you saw the intro. Today we're going to be talking about the Boost Era, but I'm not doing it alone. I'm going to be doing it with a special guest.
Named Ceddit. Actually big brother to Socks over here.
Yes, this is my big brother. He's on the channel today, and we're going to be obviously talking about the Boost Era. We're going to be doing it in chronological order though, from Sonic Unleashed to Sonic Colors to Sonic Generations, and of course the tragedy of Sonic Forces. So we can talk about Sonic Unleashed now if you want. You can say your thoughts.
Yeah, Sonic Unleashed. I want to say it came out 2008, I believe. I was a youngin', a lot younger than I am now, obviously. But when it comes to Unleashed, the gameplay was its saving factor. The story wasn't, for me, it wasn't all that well. I did like the introduction of Light Gaia and Dark Gaia, but overall the story was kind of reaching because we've established a lot of locations in the Sonic world, and most of them do not appear in Sonic Unleashed. You can give your take on how you feel when it comes to the story before we hop into the boost of it.
Alright, for the story, I do think the story was reaching a little bit, but I do think since it's kind of giving a new take of Sonic, I thought it was not bad. I do like Light Gaia, also known as Chip, in it. I'm glad they didn't make him survive at the way end. I'm just glad he wasn't 100% like Sonic's new companion. I wish that they had more Sonic characters in it. They really just had Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or not Knuckles, Amy, and Chip. But they brought humans in, like Professor Pickle. I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't know. They should have had more Sonic takes in Sonic Unleashed itself.
I absolutely agree.
So now moving on to the gameplay, I'll start first and then I'll have Ceddit go. So basically for me, I thought Unleashed gameplay itself was the best out of the 4 games and possibly more that we'll get, because it allows you to use Sonic's boost freely. Like, you don't have any limits. You're not you can drift freely as well. You don't have any limitations until you get to a boss or something like that. Otherwise, I feel like the boost itself was really good. I feel like when you were able to boost, you could run through enemies, but you not all the time you would get stopped, but you sometimes would be stopped in your tracks. But I feel like overall the boosts had more potential because of the drifting. Like when you would drift off, and even though it doesn't really have to do with the boost, it is still a key factor in levels like Shamar's levels and Chun-Nan's levels and things like that. So you can give your input if you want.
Yeah, I agree in terms of Sonic Unleashed being probably the pinnacle of the boost era overall. But for me, the boost felt kind of like a cop-out. It's honestly, all of these games exist in what's known as the dark age of Sonic. And that isn't because of gameplay. It's because of story. So story is what made the Sonic fall to where he's at currently. But we're talking about the actual gameplay. So, like I said, it felt like a cop-out for me to have him boost. It's unnecessary. It's like Sonic's the fastest thing alive. He didn't need a boost in the past in any of his previous games. And for me, it's okay, he can, out of the blue and nowhere, just find a boost of speed coming from nothing. It created a sort of fakeness to Sonic's speed. And I didn't like that. As Socks knows, I'm a classic era Sonic
for
guy.
Sure.
I grew up with Sonic when Sonic was young, and being an adult now with Sonic's only 3 years older than me. I got to experience Sonic in his golden age, and the thing that really captured people was how fast Sonic could go through his levels, and he didn't need a boost for that. So it's like they don't have the ability to give him the speed now, so they created the boost. Why can't we just maintain and attain the speed on his own with just going through the level? Why do we need the boost? Actually, Socks might feel like it's a little spice on top to have him, oh, let me hit the boost button, now I can go a little faster. But it shouldn't be necessary. And in a sense, I guess in the old games they had the panels where Sonic would run over those and he would get a boost, essentially. So I get it, but they also removed all of his abilities.
I get what you mean, but though I think the boost was unnecessary. I think they were trying to like show how fast he could go all the time, and that's what the boost was made for.
But is he going it all the time if you have to continue to push the boost button?
But I feel like that's the point of it. Like if he was boosting as soon as you got in, then what's the point of the level unless they're gonna make the level like 7 minutes?
I agree. But again, that's what they messed up on, because they knew they couldn't focus on story so much because they didn't know what they were doing when it came to the story.
That's so true.
So they had to really focus on gameplay when it came to the boost era. And again, Unleashed was good. I liked Sonic's daytime levels. I liked them. I really didn't care for the Werehog levels at all, especially when you redo the game trying to get all of the accomplishments and the,
accolades, things like that.
Exactly. It was satisfying for me because, you playing as Sonic, you want the speed. That's what Sonic's about. You want to play with some speed. You want to fly through things, but at the same time, it just misses an element that is necessary in Sonic, and I could feel that missing. So that's my take on Sonic Unleashed.
And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Sonic Colors.
With Sonic Colors, we'll start with story again. It's the most outrageous, reaching, for no reason story in the entire Sonic franchise, if you ask me. Because it's like, okay, Eggman did what? He created a theme park in outer space with the intent on, what, controlling the world? Like, through a theme park in outer space? It was like, why, Eggman? Why would you go through that? But most of the story was just nothing but comedic relief. It introduced this new loser Tails that does nothing, essentially. Like, Tails is Sonic's right-hand man, And he kept up with Sonic in every adventure. But no, this boost era comes around and look what happens to him. He's just there now. And his tech smarts, it ain't even that smart. It's like, Tails, what are you doing? Eggman, what are you doing? Okay, it's like, everybody, what are you doing? And I think it also introduced Sonic's new voice, which was, for me, it was a step back, and it was not good to me. I mean, obviously it grew after a while because he stayed with, voicing Sonic for many years after that. But I did not like his voice compared to his old voices. That's me. That's my take on the story before we get into the gameplay. What do you think, Socks?
For the story, I have to agree. Sonic Colors was definitely a step down because they were going for more of targeted towards kids. And since the Dark Age had just kind of ended, not necessarily, but for the story, I do think Sonic himself, they tried to be too cocky. Like he was a tryhard basically, at being cocky. Tails, again, like Ceddit said, he was just kind of there and he was just a coward the entire time, which is sad for Tails. Which he like in other games, I guess he does keep that after, but for Sonic Colors, just seeing Tails be more confident from Sonic Adventure games and now him being a coward, just it doesn't make sense story-wise, and I don't think it's cool. Eggman was just random. I do like the additions of Orbot and Cubot, though. I do think they're needed for Eggman, but I do feel like if Eggman is more serious and he has like two laughable characters at Orbot and Cubot, I think it could work. But again, Eggman is just, he doesn't even act like he has a 300 IQ in the entire thing, so it doesn't really all add up, which is really sad. But to me, Sonic Colors' story is not all that bad, but I think the gameplay makes up for it.
I can agree with that. I like what you said about Tails, though. How it was a step down from the older games. Let's hop into the gameplay.
All right, I'll start with the gameplay. Okay, so I have like two things that I really want to make out. The first part is the 3D sections, and to me, in the 3D sections, Sonic's gameplay is actually really good. That's when they were making it so you can control Sonic and he's not going all over the place like Unleashed. Great, they fixed that. But half of Sonic Colors is actually like a 2D game, which is not ideal because 2D games are usually platforming, and they try to make it like a classic Sonic type game while trying to keep modern elements, which I mean, they tried that with Sonic Rush, all those types of games, but for this, it just didn't really work. I feel like the 2D sections, if they were going to do that, they should have just taken away the boost entirely and just made that like a Wisp section, which again, that also makes me bring up, why are the Wisp the reason Sonic gets his speed? I never really understood that. I just feel like some of the things didn't make sense, and I mean, story and the gameplay do tie in a lot for this game in particular, but most of it just doesn't make sense, and that's a good summary for Sonic Colors to me.
I can agree, especially with the speed part. I know there was one Wisp, I think it was the yellow one, that I guess it made him like zip around like really fast. It's like, but this is the fastest thing alive. I mean, I guess you could argue they're aliens, so that's why he can make Sonic, I guess faster than Sonic, which is outrageous to think about. It's like, why would that need to be a power-up? I feel like when it comes to the Wisp and the gameplay, they could have done something more extravagant. We're talking about aliens here, like becoming a part of Sonic and giving him a new ability. Why would speed need to be one of those abilities?
Right, he already had it.
It's like, this is Sonic the Hedgehog we talking about here. Everything we know about Sonic is speed. So he doesn't need a speed ability. But I guess that's not really true, because in the adventure games, he got a speed ability, light speed. But that's a new type of speed. I guess that's a good argument then. Maybe it's okay if you want to think of it that way, but Sonic already has light speed. So what's higher than light speed that apparently this alien gave to him, right?
That's true.
So I don't get it. I didn't like the Wisp gameplay, me personally. Sonic Colors as a whole, the gameplay is the best out of the Boost era. I liked Sonic Unleashed more, but truly Sonic Colors gameplay is the best. Sonic Colors got the highest rating out of all of the Boost era games, not because of his story, but because of his gameplay. It's very well done for the Boost era, Yeah. And it's enjoyable, to say the least. It's very enjoyable. I still am not a Boost fan, but I do appreciate the effort they put into Sonic Colors gameplay. And that's kind of why the story was so joking. Like, they were making it so you understand it's not about the story for this game. Because it was a terrible story. Completely. Like, it was garbage. Garbage juice, actually. Not just the garbage, you gotta throw the juice in there. So, I will give the gameplay for Sonic Colors a definite 9 out of 10 for the Boost era. It will have the highest rating out of all of them, and they created a formula that worked, and they should have stuck with it for the games that we're about to speak about next.
Correct. And we're going to go ahead and move on to Sonic Generations. Now moving on to Sonic Generations, like I said, we're always going to start with the story and then talk about that for a second, then move on to the gameplay. So for me, the story itself was not the greatest. I did a video with pointing out the obvious. We talked about it, we had a debate on it. But to me, it didn't like really hit home as I expected it to be as a 20th anniversary game. It did get a high rating of 4.7 out of 10, or no, 4.7 out of 5. Which is really good. But to me, the story itself, having the time eater, and it had so much potential. To me, even more than Dark Gaia, it just didn't hit home because it didn't do anything. Like in the cutscenes, you can see where it just flies around and that's it. So Sonic and his younger self, as they state, but that'll be changed soon in later games. But as they state that as his younger self, they have a conversation, and then they just move on to the next level. The game itself is kind of bland because of that, but I can get around with Sonic saving his friends and like unmaking them, what were they, like statues or something, or they were frozen or something like that. But the story, especially with Dr. Eggman, there was so much potential because I mean there's 2 Sonics, but there's 2 Eggmans, and that's like double the brain power, even though they weren't always the smartest. And isn't like classic Eggman supposed to be like more serious than modern Eggman? They didn't really like keep that. So that's my summary of that.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Robotnik and Eggman, though, they didn't even have the same name because he had already gotten a new name when he became present day Robotnik, and that's Eggman. So yes, Robotnik was more serious completely. He wanted world domination. Look at the old Sonic games. There was animals in robots. Literally. You hit a robot today in Generations or Unleash Your Colors, guess what? There ain't gonna be an animal popping out. That's because Eggman ain't that evil no more.
Right.
He done lost a little flavor. He lost the spice to him. But you brought him into this game, and he doesn't have the spice. What era, what period was this Robotnik? Because I don't remember him. I was there. I was there back then. I don't remember this Robotnik. So it was the story for me. It had potential. I agree with Socks on that. It had potential, and they're very good at marketing. I gotta give it to Sonic and Sega. They're good at marketing their game like it's gonna be the next big thing.
I agree.
They're very good at it because they fool you. It's not gonna happen. Oh my goodness. The Generations, they brought back classic Sonic for what though? Like, I'm like looking at it, and yeah, okay, the first reveal trailer that came out showed modern Sonic running, and then classic Sonic just popped out of nowhere. Oh my goodness, they're running together. What could this possibly be about? You know, it pulled you in just to let you down when you get there. I was not a fan of it was out of the 4 games I played through Generations the most. Why that is, I don't know. I think it might have been because of the boss battles. It was nostalgic for me because they took on a sense of feel from the old games when it came to the boss battles. So I enjoyed that, but the story just they didn't know what they really wanted to do, and in the end they just have a bunch of what is going on. But when it comes to the gameplay, that's a little different. When he fought Perfect Chaos originally, he went super. He was supersonic during that fight. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that. It kind of showed Sonic's growth a little bit. That's why I kind of appreciated the boss fights in Sonic Generations. It kind of showed his growth. He didn't need to be supersonic to beat Perfect Chaos now. But I can only say that about the Perfect Chaos fight, because then you get to like the Shadow fight or the Silver fight, and it's just like, I don't know. Because it didn't have that same feel like Sonic Group, you know? It was a rehash. And I like rehashes, but it's like, this is a future Sonic. He's already went through these battles. Where's the difference? Besides just modernizing it, Sonic's just running the entire time. through these fights, and they add the boost to it. It's like Perfect Chaos saved it for me. After Perfect Chaos,
Went downhill.
It went downhill. It went up and then it came back down. So that was it for me. But the gameplay, it's second to Colors. It's the one I played the most. But Unleashed would still be my first pick. So I definitely would put Generations 8 out of 10 for me when it comes to Generations, just for gameplay. Story, when it comes to the boost era, story it's not gonna be a factor because it's never good.
They're not as strong. I can see Unleashed being the stronger suit. But before we actually move on, the one thing I have to touch is the boss fight in Sonic Generations. It's the worst boss fight because you can literally hold X, triangle, whatever thing you're playing on, and you can beat the entire thing because it's Super Sonic having to boost and there's no platforming. And I mean, what do you expect? All you have to do is hold X, and I don't even think you have to use Classic Sonic to win, and that's sad. That was a disappointing boss fight. I've talked about it before, but I had to bring it up again.
And they definitely tried to take a Sonic Adventure 2 type of feel with that fight. You know, having characters talking in the background. No, it didn't help it. In fact, it made it worse.
It did.
The Time Meter, like Stock said, it had potential to be a great story. It just didn't work out. They didn't know what they really wanted to do with it. It's like you should have your story mapped out from start to finish before you start making the game. It's like they got halfway through the game and they're like, you know what? That wasn't a good idea. Let's backtrack a little bit. Actually, no. Let's just keep winging it. We're going to wing the rest of this. And that's what they did. But, you know, they didn't wing it like they did the next game. So I got to give them points for not doing that bad, but it was really bad when it comes to the story.
I agree. And now with that being said, we're going to move on to the final game of the Boost era. Well, unless they make more in the future, of course. Sonic Forces. Alright, Sonic Forces. This game was a dumpster fire, but to me it was just a disappointment. It was really hyped up well for its 25th anniversary. They had it as a special, a really special thing at the end of its celebration, but it was very sad. Starting with the story, Infinite was a really interesting character. There was I believe a deleted concept of him and the, what is it called? Phantom Ruby. See, this game is not very rememberable. The Phantom Ruby, it was a parasite at first, and I feel like that could have been something huge. I'm going to use that personally for something special, but that could have been something cool. Infinite had potential. I think he still has potential if they ever want to bring him back. Eggman didn't make sense in this game, and to me, what was it called? Sonic's like, not Freedom Fighter Gang, but the people that he worked with, the Chaotic, Silver, Amy, Knuckles, and Tails, it just didn't make sense. Eggman getting all these villains like Zavok, or Zavik, depending on how you say it, Chaos, which is another thing. Chaos should have been in the game. He was just promotion, and that was another thing that made people mad. Metal Sonic, he had a really small role. Going up against Sonic in like a war type of thing could have been so cool, and they just, to me, failed at it.
They definitely bombed it, like, completely. The thing is, they knew what they wanted to do, and then they just, it's another case of dropping the ball once it's passed to you. They cost us the game, because Sonic Forces probably had the best promotion out of all games in the Boost era, completely. People wanted this game before it came out. People wanted it. I wanted it. I'm like, wow, this looks amazing. Sonic loses and, you know, okay, this OC character mess came in. Wasn't a fan from the beginning, but I'm like, the story might be a saving grace for it. So it finally comes out. Sonic loses. Somehow loses. This is the same guy that Shadow beat, though, without any trouble. He dodged him one time, hit him, he beat him. But Sonic got his butt kicked, disappeared for months, apparently, and the world was destroyed in those months. Listen to what that just sounded like. Sonic was gone for months, and the world got destroyed But Sonic was not hurt in any way, shape, or form. He was just sitting in a cage for months. Wasn't even hungry. Like, Eggman was feeding this
That's
man.
what made no sense.
He was getting fed. You were living a decent life. The world got to not have you around for a little bit. You got to duck off for some months. You got to chill. I don't remember how he got out the cage, Socks, when he first got reintroduced after 6 months or something.
So basically, they had Sonic in the cage, and then they released him. Zavok released him. But something that I want to talk about is, why did they have his hands like together instead of his feet? If his feet and like his legs are like one of the most lethal things, because he's running. He's never been like known to punch people like Knuckles is.
It just never made sense. And then Eggman, they hyped up. Oh, Eggman finally did it. He finally figured it out. He beat him. No, come to find out, he kept him in a cage. The cage wasn't even well guarded. So I'm like, Sonic, how did you stay in there for months? Come on now. You didn't want to get out. You wanted a break from being a hero. That's all it was. He got his well-needed break, whooped Eggman and Infinite. And I mean, Sonic Mania was the saving grace to Sonic Forces. If Mania did not come out, nobody would even remember Sonic Forces. It would be Sonic Lost World, because it's lost.
Right.
We would not remember that. But Mania came out as well. Mania was phenomenal. Great game, period. I'm glad that they decided to make that game. And they introduced the Phantom Ruby through Sonic Mania. They didn't really explain it in Forces. But it was a good addition. Like Sock said, it started out as a parasite, which would have been a better... Like, it's a Ruby now. Like, huh? What? Why?
Right.
Why did that need to be a thing? Like, where was this Ruby all of this time? So, yeah, they created 2 timelines for no reason. Did not need to happen. Classic Sonic didn't even need to be in the game. Why is he here? What does Classic Sonic even do?
I know. Didn't make sense to me. But something that I did know is that this is also bad. So Sega needs to like take this out completely. You shouldn't have to read a comic to understand how the story begins in a game.
It gave off that sense that nothing was happening with the other heroes for 6 months. What were they doing in this time period?
Right.
Like, you literally weren't doing anything. And y'all happy. Y'all smiling right now. This OC character walks in, everybody got big smiles, happy cheeks on. So I'm like, where's the mischief? Where's the sadness?
It just didn't make sense. And then like you said, when they bring in the rookie, they're just like, oh, we got this rookie, he's gonna solve all our problems. And I mean, he does struggle. I'll give them that. He did make him struggle. But then it's like, Sonic's your main character. Make him struggle a little bit before you give this new guy, who's only gonna probably be in this game, make him have some issues. Like,
I completely agree. It's like, you all are OG heroes. Y'all are the heroes.
Right, not the rookie.
Why are y'all bringing in this guy? Who is he? And you're trusting him to save the world? What are y'all gonna do? And that brings me to Tails, man. This was the nail in the coffin for me when it comes to Tails. Tails watched Sonic get the absolute dog crap beat out of him by Infinite and the other villains. He sat there. He hid. I said, Tails, is that you? Like, I grew up with my big brother. We played the original Sonic games. I was Tails, man. I was Tails.
But now you have him cowering behind a rock. I was so, like, I almost cried because I couldn't believe Sega would do this to Tails. Tails had his own video. He had more video games than Knuckles did. Knuckles had Knuckles Chaotix. Tails had Tails Sky Patrol. Tails Adventure. Like, Tails was a GOAT, an OG. What happened? I literally just don't get why they made him, like, they built character up from Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, he's literally on a space colony by himself when Sonic gets, like, teleported or he gets shot out of that thing. And now he's all confident, like, I'm gonna beat Eggman. But now he's just like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? Sonic's gone. He had an entire arc based on why he needs to be great without Sonic. Exactly. It just didn't. On the space colony arc, Tails fought, when Sonic was about to get shot out, he entrusted everything to Tails. Tails was right there. He said, Tails, you handle this now. Tails fought Eggman, whooped Eggman. Tails whooped Eggman by himself multiple times in both adventure games. So what happened? That Tails was the hero of Station Square. Not Sonic. Sonic wasn't even the hero. Tails achieved hero status in the city before Sonic did. Let that sink in. That's how good Tails was. And I can't unsee that they made this nice, beautiful arc for this kid. I mean, Tails is not like a teenager. He's like 7 and 8. And now he's like growing up, but then he's decreasing and becoming a coward again. Like, that's not even like human logic. I don't get that. But Socks, Tails never was a coward. He never was a coward ever in his time alive. He's 2, 3 years old saving islands with Sonic. 2 and 3. He's 2 and 3 years old. This is a baby saving islands. Okay, and then 7, 8. He was like 6 actually when he saved Station Square by himself. He was in the newspapers. They put Tails in the newspapers as the hero. But then at Sonic Forces, they butchered him. They did horribly. And again, like you mentioned when we were talking about Sonic Colors, with his new smarts, he made this thing called the Miles Electric. If that can read what people are saying and read from different locations, why doesn't he use that to read what his robots are saying and tries to program it to get into and hack into things? He just uses it to talk to Wisp and then he never uses it again, or he uses it to track how fast Sonic goes. I mean, yeah, with that logic, Tails has created a lot of things that never show up again. That would have been very helpful had he used them again. You know, Tails is the greatest. He's the a lot of people get this. He's the Vegeta of Dragon Ball Z in Sonic though. Like he had the potential, did nothing with it after he did something with it. You know, now it's all about Sonic.
That was our Tails rant, but
Yeah, let's hop on the gameplay.
Right. Okay, so I'll start. Okay, the gameplay is horrible. We all knew this, but you can walk. Like I need to play some type of clip or something, but you can walk and not get hit. I know that's not really boost, but you can literally walk in the first level, not get hit, and you can do that for the rest of the game. And like the robots are there. You can put it on hard mode. They don't do anything. They don't attack you. Nothing. And I mean, that's bad gameplay on itself. But let's talk about the real boost real quick. The real boost itself just didn't hit because of the level design. And that meaning like the levels are short. I mean, they're like 2-3 minutes. And you can finish the game in like 2 to 3 hours minus the cutscenes, I think. Didn't really like the gameplay. The boost, I just feel like you could control it, but at the same time you really couldn't. Like, let's say you're doing a sidestep where Sonic is like, especially the Metal Sonic boss fight, where he's doing these sidestepping things. You're not like really lined up. So when he had like these, maybe that was the infinite one, but he had like these pixelated things you would sidestep and you wouldn't go like right into the middle like old games, which I don't understand how you get worse at something and you're a game developer. I mean, sure, you bring in new people, but you just digressed, and it's sad because Sonic and Sonic Forces, again, as we stated at the beginning, had so much potential, and it literally failed in every single way.
It's like their goal was to fail. It's like it's called Sonic Forces because the forces behind this game were literally just there to destroy Sonic, because that's what they did. Like Sonic hasn't. This is probably the biggest stretch of time Sonic hasn't really released a new good game. Or really, has he? Is there a new game out?
No, there actually isn't.
It's been years. Sonic Forces was it. That was the last time, because it might have been the nail in the coffin until people forget it. Like they're waiting for people to forget it ever existed, and then they'll come out with a new game. So I'm gonna give it a 0 gameplay garbino. Like Sock said, Infinite could have saved the game with just having a good story. Didn't even do that. Like, this is a case where story could have saved gameplay. No, you ruined both of them for me. So what am I even doing here? Why is this on my TV?
Right, exactly. I feel the same way. Like, yeah, I know we have our disagreements on Sonic because we are obviously two different sides of the spectrum, but this is something that everyone can agree on. Sonic Forces, it's not something you want to play.
I would probably play Lost World before Sonic Forces.
And that says a lot because
it has to.
Right.
Again, another case of not knowing what they wanted to do. It's like they get a concept, like they got a great one writer in the writing room, and all he does is write one sentence, and he says, "Okay, y'all do something with this sentence." What they do is they make trailers based off of this one sentence, and they lure us in. We need to know who that guy is because he needs to write the entire game. But clearly he has nothing else to do with it outside of that one sentence that y'all made the trailers for. Yeah, so with that, man, I will never be playing Sonic Forces again. I'm not even a Boost era fan, but I will give the crown of the Boost era to Sonic Unleashed. I have to give it to Sonic Unleashed because there was a good balance of story and gameplay. Didn't like the story. Did like the gameplay, but the story wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. It was a great concept with Light and Dark Guy. I love that. It was just the overall execution. They didn't really hit the ball on it. Colors, just gameplay. Killed the gameplay in Colors. Generations, gameplay is okay. I've really enjoyed a few of the boss fights. Story, garbage. Had potential once again. and then you get the Forces, gameplay, story, music. Oh God, the music was so god darn terrible. Socks, Socks, just take it from me because I'm about to get back into Sonic Forces and I don't want to do it. So what did you feel? Which game do you feel gets the crown second, third, and fourth place in this boost era?
So to me, I have to go with what you said. Sonic Unleashed, by far the best one. Even to me, it feels like that it just separates itself on a whole different level from all the other games. That's the first one to me. To me, the second best game, I have to go with probably Sonic Generations. I do have nostalgia for it, so that is not technically fair in the ranking, but I don't really care. And Sonic Colors, the third one, because there's nothing worse than Forces in this one. So, even if I wanted to put Forces above it, I couldn't. Forces is a bad game. Colors itself, though, since I have to touch on that one, it's not bad, but the story is bad, and the gameplay is not ideal. It's not bad, but it's just like Sonic. Like you said, Ceddit said, it's very random, and that's a good explanation for Sonic Colors itself. And that's gonna actually do it for the entire boost era, unless you have some final things to say.
That's it, man. I'm excited to do future videos with you and talk more, and we got surprises for the channel as a whole.
Yes, I'm super excited to say those surprises. You'll probably figure out in the next channel update, so stay tuned for that. And I actually don't have much to say, but thank you all for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you're new, subscribe. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you check out my plush series. That's something that we put a lot of time into. And just go check it out. The links are always in the description. And yeah, with that being said, I love you guys. Wear your socks. Peace.